What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a wrestler's worried about Jade Cargill, is Stephanie Vaquer vacating the WWE Women's Championship, a sad update for Kevin Owens, Mustafa Ali had a gruesome injury, an AEW star removed off the roster, a 27-year-old veteran wrestler retires, prayers out to Chris Bay, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story looks at whether wrestlers are worried about Jade Cargill. Now, why hasn't Jade Cargill defended her WWE Women's Championship despite holding the belt since November 1st, 2025? Now, apparently there's more pressing speculation in the WWE locker room as Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp recently commented on the injuries suffered by B-Fab, Mishan, and Tiffany Stratton following their matches against Cargill. Well, Tiffany hasn't wrestled since a match with her as well, but I want to make it clear, I don't know if it was specifically spots that Jade did or negligence on her part. I don't have that information, but it was certainly discussed among talent and has been discussed among talent. The thought of having the women's championship around the waist of a wrestler with a tendency to injure opponents is quite disturbing. While there's been no confirmation that Cargill has been blamed for the injuries, and apparently there was no heat on her, it appears that the rash of injuries has some people mulling over cause and correlation. Sapp went on to say, "I didn't hear of any specific heat from the office, producers, or anything of that nature, but talent definitely do notice the trend, and it does get talked about in the locker room, absolutely." This story could lead to fans and pundits revisiting the question about whether WWE rushed things by putting SmackDown's top women's title on Cargill, a wrestler who's had a bumpy road in WWE since she left AEW. You may recall rumors about WWE officials having the wrestling version of buyer's remorse over signing someone they felt wasn't as qualified as they thought. Indeed, there were even rumors that one or more WWE officials tried to throw the blame at AEW for not training Jade well enough. And whatever the case, the current Cargill Championship crisis needs to be addressed. If Jade isn't ready to defend the title, it's time to take it off her. If management feels she's okay to wrestle, then it's time for some actual title defenses, or the promotion risks running a title run into a joke. Even Jordynne Grace had a pop at her, saying someone told her just sit there and look pretty, and she said say no more. 75 days, 0 defenses. Now, it's clear that WWE really has to rectify this issue sooner rather than later. As of now, Jade Cargill isn't even booked for Saturday night's main event, but that could all change next week. Next up is Stephanie Vaquer vacating the Women's World Championship. Now, speaking of the WWE Women's Championships, could current Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer be forced to drop the title due to an ankle injury she's been dealing with? Well, Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp addressed the concerns, mentioning, as of this past week, there was no plan for Stephanie to vacate the title. In fact, there were tentative creative plans for her next defense, which, I mean, they're setting up an angle with Raquel Rodriguez. We see that on TV every week. Vaquer has been feuding with the Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez, who's targeted the champion's already injured ankle. Sapp reminded fans of Stephanie's injury, saying she sustained an ankle sprain and needed a walking boot. She's always cleared for contact, but obviously wrestling on that is a bad idea. Longtime fans will recall how champions originally had to defend the title every 30 days or be stripped of the title. However, WWE's long policy of part-time champions like Brock Lesnar and later Roman Reigns means that there's no storyline reason to take the title off someone unless a promotion thinks an injured champion isn't returning soon, as fans saw with Seth Rollins. It's also a reason why they haven't taken the title off Dominic Mysterio, even though he's injured. But do you think WWE should rethink how it handles with injured champions, perhaps creating interim champions until an injured wrestler returns? Next up, a sad update for Kevin Owens. Now, when will Kevin Owens return to WWE following the neck surgery he underwent last year? Will Kevin Owens even return? Well, fans are naturally curious as KO is one of their favorite wrestlers, but a new report from Fightful Select suggests that WWE has no idea when or if Owens will return. The prizefighter announced before WrestleMania 41 that he had to take time off due to a bad neck, with rumors running rampant that Owens' neck was so banged up he might never return. While Owens did undergo neck surgery, Fightful noted it wasn't until July of last year. The current belief is that Owens is slowly recovering and that WWE officials know this. Consequently, there are reportedly no creative plans for him. Given the seriousness of KO's injury, it's understandable why he and WWE want to make sure he takes as much time as needed to recover. At the same time, there will always be skeptics who question reports given WWE's history of working fans about wrestlers' return schedules. But could we ever see him at the Royal Rumble making a shock return? Well, that seems really unlikely. Next up, Mustafa Ali shows off a gruesome injury. TNA's Genesis pay-per-view was well received, with 10 big matches including a retirement bout, but TNA talent Mustafa Ali is letting fans know he didn't escape unscathed after he defeated Elias. Ali tweeted a nasty photo of his big toe, and so much so that we're just going to censor it out, because it is a bit gross and YouTube probably won't even allow this. We hope he does make a speedy recovery on that. Next up, Jim Ross and Devon Dudley's drama continues. Now it's time to take a look at the latest in the ongoing drama between Devon Dudley and Jim Ross. In case you haven't been following the story, Devon accused Ross of making racially offensive remarks during the grand opening of a WWE restaurant years ago, with there being claims that Ross was allegedly intoxicated at the time and couldn't remember the conversation. As such, Jim Ross denied the allegations earlier this month on his Grillin' JR podcast.
I'm not a racist. I've never been a racist. Ask some of the African-American athletes that I've been around and worked with in my 50-year career. They'll agree with it. They'll say the same thing. And like I said before, when you and I first talked about this, I don't remember the first crossword I had with Devon. I'm not mad. I never got mad at him. I was bewildered by how this could happen. Because like I said, I don't remember any negative exchanges with him. And what I was allegedly said would damn sure be negative.
Ross was adamant that he never got mad at Devon and doesn't remember any drama with the former WWE superstar. Good old JR also clarified that this is a private matter and he's willing to speak man-to-man with brother Devon. However, Ringside News is reporting that the host of Duke Loves Wrestling mentioned that JR's team, including Maven and Conrad Thompson, had floated the idea of taping a sit-down. Devon weighed in on the conversation during the most recent of the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, saying, "Two men can sit down and talk and iron this out without cameras. I'm not asking for a crowd. I'm not asking for a crowd at all." There's been no confirmation that Ross's team discussed a videotape discussion, and if so, whether Ross authorized it. Whatever the case, Devon told listeners, "Honestly, I'm not even really asking for JR to come and sit down and talk. He doesn't have to. If he wants to, I'd be more than happy to, but he doesn't have to. I'm not looking to gain YouTube subscribers or views or anything like that. This story's taken a life of its own, but do you think the matter should be in public or in private?" Next up, an AEW star removed off the roster. Now it's time for the latest evidence. Former AEW muscleman Powerhouse Hobbs is done with the company. Wrestling News is reporting Powerhouse Hobbs is officially no longer All Elite. Following the conclusion of this week's episode of AEW Collision, the former TNT champion was removed from the active roster page on the company's official website, signaling the end of his tenure with the promotion. Now, while there is no guarantee Hobbs is headed to WWE, it's well known the promotion is interested in him, and as far as some fans are concerned, it's a lock that the big man will be in WWE soon, and this is a good indicator. It seems that Hobbs has no non-compete clause, but even if he was able to sign immediately, WWE could take its time before debuting him, as the promotion has a policy of waiting for creative to have a storyline direction for someone before their debut. Next up, the WWE locker room reaction to AEW signees. Or will Hobbs be welcome in the locker room if he joins WWE? Well, Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp recently addressed this on a Q&A show, saying, "Well, it's not with the same frequency as a former WWE wrestlers coming into AEW in 2021 and 2022. But I can tell you back then, AEW talent were happy to have people in there, but also wanted to make sure that their spots were secured, and for many of them, they weren't, as we've seen in recent years." Hobbs isn't the only AEW wrestler who could land in the WWE. There's also heavy buzz about Chris Jericho returning to the company, possibly at the Royal Rumble. Next up, a 27-year-old veteran wrestler retires. Last night's TNA Genesis pay-per-view marked the end of an era as Johnny Dango Curtis, aka former WWE superstar Fandango, wrestled his last match, counting the lights for Eddie Edwards. It's crazy to believe that Fandango had a 27-year-old career and it's finally come to an end. While Curtis did lose, and at least he didn't tap out while smiling, he received a great send-off from the fans and his fellow TNA wrestlers, with Inside the Ropes reporting, following the bout, JDC was joined in the ring by the rest of his group mates Moose, Alicia Edwards, and Brian Myers. The former WWE star took his time spending time with the fans and saying goodbye to the crew around the ring, while the TNA locker room clapped for him at the end of the ramp. He took one final bow in front of the audience and exited the stage with the rest of the locker room following him. And we're sending our best to JDC as he enters a new phase in his life. Next up, prayers out to Chris Bay. A TNA wrestler Chris Bay recently opened up about the emotional challenges he's faced while recovering from a severe injury that's kept him out of action for more than a year. Bay took to social media to share a heartfelt message describing of how he just broke down in tears. "I cried yesterday. Let me explain. Last week I went down to the Dungeon 2.0. I had an amazing time and witnessed some amazing things. So grateful for the invite. Then it hit me hard this week. A bunch of my friends are signing to new promotions or doing cool things in their promotions. Friends doing well in the indies. TNA moved over to AMC. I'm still struggling to get out of bed daily. In the gym yesterday, in the middle of my workout, I just broke down. Tears flowed through my eyes like they haven't in a few months. I couldn't help but think, where would I be if I didn't get hurt? Eventually, I wiped my eyes and picked up the dumbbells and I did my next set. Continued to complete my workout. It's okay to be transparent and vulnerable. It's okay to feel. It's not okay to give up. Now, Bay has previously stated that he feels much better than he did a year ago and continues to hope for a ring return when his body is ready, and we truly hope it comes soon. And finally, WWE auctioning off a gross item. Last but not least, is there any limit to what WWE will sell to its fans? Well, apparently not, as the company is now auctioning off the bloody shirt Cody Rhodes wore at last year's Elimination Chamber when John Cena turned heel on him. The package includes the bloody white t-shirt, Cody's vest, and his tie, and the current bid is an eye-watering $30,000. Now, for those of you on the edge of whether to buy this item, WWE Shop's description mentions, "This is your chance to own a piece of the suit worn by the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes during the emotionally charged Elimination Chamber 2025 event. On that night, John Cena earned the opportunity to challenge Cody at WrestleMania for the Undisputed Championship. And the champ arrived to confront Cena and emphatically declined The Rock's offer to become his champion. Cena then shocked the entire world by brutally punishing Cody and leaving him to bleed all over his shirt, making this suit a symbol of the grit and determination that continues to define Rhodes' career. Grab these items today and remember a crazy event that saw Cena turn to the dark side. Do you think $30,000 is really worth it? Would you bid for it? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.